This lesson is on type 7 and type 8 sentences, and this is part 4 of a 4-part series on diagramming sentences. All right, so you'll notice now this diagram looks a little bit different than our type 2 and 3 and type 4 and 5 sentences. The big difference here is this vertical line as opposed to a backslashing line. Otherwise, it's a subject and predicate, but behind the vertical line goes the direct object. There's also, as you may be able to predict, a difference in the predicate. This time, these are going to be transitive verbs. And they're transitive. Transit means to go across something. They're transitive because they act on the direct object. These are the so-called action verbs. And this is a good thing to know because you want lots of action verbs in your writing. You don't want it to be all forms of the verb to be or linking verbs. You want to get lots of those action verbs in there, and that's what the transitive verbs are. Right? So once again, I'm going to skip over diagnosing part of speech and sentence elements. If I go too fast for you, you don't know what some of these things are, go back and review the lessons on part of speech and sentence elements, because again, I'm just assuming you know all this. All right, so Janae hit. What did she hit? She hit the ball. She hit a ball. Right, so what do we got the rest as well? The ball. And where did she hit it? She hit it into the face, the opponent's face. Janae's a tough kid. Tough volleyball player, that Janae. Right, so the prepositional phrase here says where she hit it. She hit it into the opponent's face. All right, so let's look at this next one here. Looks like we have a compound subject, so we're going to set up for that. All right, so Rory, MJ, eat ton. They actually eat ton. They eat what? They eat a ton. A ton of what? A ton of food. And what's this one doing? Oh, this says where they're eating it. So this actually modifies the predicate. In class, Mr. B's class. Right? So this prepositional phrase modifies the verb. This one modifies the direct object. So that's why this one goes under the predicate and this one goes under the direct object. Eric ran. What did he run? He ran the ball. Eric ran the ball. Let's see, looks like we've got a prepositional phrase here. And we have an adverbial phrase because this tells when it happened. He ran 4 yards, 150. Last game. This is one of those funky elbow ones because last modifies game. It's not 3 games ago and it's not next game, it's last game. So pardon the penmanship there, but look, we have a prepositional phrase that's telling how far he ran, and then we have an adverbial phrase that's telling when he ran. Okay. All right, on to the type 8 sentence. You'll notice this looks just like the type 7 sentence, but we have this little prepositional phrase down here. The indirect object is actually part of a prepositional phrase, but sometimes the preposition isn't stated. We just expect it or we know it. It's understood in our language that the preposition that forms the indirect object can be omitted, and we still know what the speaker or writer means. So let's look at some examples of that. Right? So we have a compound subject once again. Sarah, David. gave what? They gave a gift. Me a wonderful gift. Okay. Now it's understood that the preposition to goes here. They gave it to me. And if it helps you, you can put that, understood preposition in there in parentheses. Some teachers will ask you to do that. Some teachers won't. If you're in my class, I don't care whether you put it in there or not, as long as you understand that by your diagram that this is the indirect object. All right, let's go on to the next one. Ooh, looks like we've got a compound predicate here. This one's going to be screwy. Right, Emily baked and decorated cake, right? Because both of these verbs are acting on cake. I'd like to act on some cake right now. Sorry, it's the afternoon and I'm ready for a snack. Let's see, and this is beautiful. Right, now what do we do with this little prepositional phrase here that forms the indirect object? Well, it comes off of both of these. I'm just going to put it here. But really, she does both of these verbs for Griffin, right? She baked the cake for Griffin. She decorated the cake for Griffin. There it is. Right. This one's a little bit simpler. Tasha threw ball. She threw the ball to Angeline, but again, that's understood. As English speakers, we know she threw it to Angeline. If you're studying English as a second language, then I can see how these would be really tricky for you. And she threw it from the line, the midfield line. And ball has a modifier as well. Okay, so again, we have two prepositional phrases modifying the predicate. This one forms the indirect object. Come on. And this one's just a simple prepositional phrase saying where she threw it from, and thus just modifying ball. And so that's it. Thanks for watching.